Hi everyone, my name is Nick. I'm going to talk tonight a little bit about goal setting. I'm going to speak about three specific areas. One, some of my personal experiences with goal setting. Two, I'm going to talk a little bit about successes and failures of goal setting. And then three, about some specific tactics that can be used about making sure that you're setting smart goals. So the first of all, goal setting has always been something that I've tried to have as a part of my life. I'm not one that's setting like daily goals, or at least I'm not saying that, but I often will look at goals from a month long standpoint or even a year long standpoint. So, for example, when I was in high school, I had set a goal that I wanted to become to go into science, to be a meteorologist, a weatherman, more specifically. But after taking some business classes, I decided that that's not what I wanted to do. And after spending a couple of years on a volunteer mission in Europe, when I got back, I had set a goal that I wanted to graduate with my bachelor's degree in business. And so I set that as a goal. I worked full time during the day while doing this. I went to school at night, 4 nights a week, full time. During this time, met my wife. We got married. She was doing the same thing. Life was super busy. It was not easy, but we both had set a goal that we wanted to graduate with a bachelor's degree. She graduated about 6 months before I did. I followed, and it was a goal we achieved. We felt really good about it. It allowed us to get good jobs. Shortly thereafter, I set a new goal that I wanted to go get a master's degree. Not right away, but eventually down the road. So after working for a couple of years, I applied to schools. We had a little boy at the time. We moved out of state. We spent the next 2 years with me doing a full-time program, my wife helping raise our kids. We had a second child while we were gone, and so it was a lot of work, and there was a lot of mini sub goals that allowed us to be able to get to where we did. Upon graduation, I had a goal that I wanted to own my own business someday, and about 3 years later, we were able to realize that. And there's still even goals that we set today. So it's become a pattern throughout our lives. And even though these are kind of longer term, loftier goals that we've set, there was a lot of small goals that allowed us to be able to do this from a financial standpoint, from a time management standpoint, even from a family planning standpoint, and those types of things. So it's been tremendous to be able to have personal goals that I've set, but also to be able to have family goals that my wife and I have been able to set together as we reach these. So those are just some examples of how goals have helped us stay on target and stay on track. The second thing I wanted to talk about is we have not always been successful with our goals. There's things that we've wanted to do from a financial standpoint, from a personal standpoint, from a relationship standpoint that just haven't worked. And that's okay. That's part of goal setting, is sometimes you might only realize part of the goal, or you might completely fail at the goal. And does that mean that you give up, that you say, well, I can't do this, I need to move on? And the answer is no. The answer is that oftentimes we learn the most from our failures and from the times where we haven't been able to be successful. And so when that happens, we can examine, we can look at what we did wrong, we can decide what we need to change, and we can reset that goal. Third thing I wanted to talk about briefly was having a specific plan for goals. So you can Google this, but there's an acronym out there called SMART, SMART, that has to do with SMART goals. And that the SMART stands for specific, meaning you need to be very specific and detailed about the goals you're setting. You don't want to just say, well, I hope I'm in better shape someday. Well, no, you might say, I need to lose 10 pounds, or I want to go to the gym every day, or I want to do this. So you need to have specific details as part of your goals. The M is measurable. You need to be able to measure them. Again, for lack of a better example, if we use weight loss, you need to measure, I want to lose 5 pounds or 20 pounds or 40 pounds. If you just say, well, I hope to lose weight, it's not very specific. You can't measure that. And so it makes it harder to achieve. So again, specific, measurable. The A stands for attainable or achievable. It needs to be something that's realistic. There could be a goal out there that's so lofty where you say, oh, I want to have $10 million within the next 5 years. Well, that's probably not very realistic for most people. So it needs to be something that's achievable, that stretches you, but that's doable. So the next one is the R. The R stands for relevant. And what this means is your goal, especially this has to do with smaller or medium-sized goals, is this relevant to your overall life plan? Is it relevant to what you're trying to achieve in general. And then finally, the T is timely. Most of the time with a goal, you want to have a timeline associated with it. Again, our weight loss example. I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to do this and this. This is my specific details in order to do this. And I want to do it within the next 6 months. You don't want to just say, well, I hope someday that I'll lose 10 pounds. No, you need to have a specific timeline associated with it. I did this for school. I didn't want to wait years and years and years to go and get a master's degree. And so I set it by a certain date that I wanted to do that, and we were able to achieve that. So if you remember specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, relevant, and timely, those are some of the attributes that will help you to be able to reach your goals. So I wish you the best of luck.